All right, hey Pilates people, my name is Jessica. This is Connect and Move. I have for you today a classical reformer flow with a focus on pelvic stability and control. I have the lovely Josie here. She is going to honor her body and you are going to do the same, I hope. We are gonna start with, let's do a red, blue, and a green for balanced body, but it's gonna be a heavy, medium, and a light. You will need your box, right? Your box, your reformer, your beautiful self, and then a heavy, light, and a blue spring. Heavy, light, and a medium. Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna start seated, feet on the floor. Yep, you can just face this way here. Good, so just make sure you've got some good grounding through your feet. And then you're gonna interlace the webbing of your fingers. Hands are gonna come on top of your head. Yep. And so the hands are here for feedback. So I want you to kind of push your hands down into your head. So get the sensation that you lift up into your hands. So you're just giving yourself a little resistance to lift up into. All right. So even though the legs may not be together, think of the inner thighs just kind of coming to the party. You're pushing down through all corners of your feet and you're lifting up so tall here. All right. So keeping your tall lifted spine and your shoulders are just relaxed. I want you to kind of just roll the hips around a little bit and just kind of feel where your level is in your hips, meaning, right, you should feel level on your right seat and your left seat here. And then go ahead and just find center, right? Again, you're lifting up into your hands. And now keep the lift up, take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, I want you to blow out all of your air and think of getting a little bit taller. Keep pushing down through your feet. Good, take another big breath in here. And then on your exhale, just blow all the air out. Maybe feel your stomach contract a little bit more. Take another big breath in. And again, exhale, blow out all of the air. Think of growing a little bit taller. Good. We'll do another one like that. Big inhale. And then big breath out. Good. One more here. I lied. It's not one more. We're going to add on. So take a big breath in. And now on your exhale, I want you to think of giving your pelvis a little tuck, like you were pulling your pubic bone up to your navel, still lifting up through the crown of the head. And then as you inhale, you just rock back on your pelvis just a little bit, right? So it's just a little pelvic rock, keeping the lift. So a lot of times when we move the pelvis, there's a tendency to sink and then move other parts of the spine. Yes. There you go, and use the push down through the feet and feel like your low abdomen is pulling the pelvis up a little bit. Good. Might feel a little awkward. We'll have some more feedback when we come down to the mat. So just do one more here. Remember, you're lifting up into your hands, shoulders are relaxed. Good. And now go ahead and just take the hands down and go ahead and lie on your back. So lying on your back here, make sure that you are centered on your carriage. Run your hands up along the mat. Turn your head from right to left and just make sure that the shoulder blocks are hitting your, maybe not at all the same spot. So rest your feet comfortably onto the foot bar, whether arches, toes, or heels on. All right, so we're gonna do our pelvic rock here. So you're gonna stretch the arms down and into the mat, kind of roll the chest open to connect the entire back of the arm to the mat as well. Now take a big expansive breath into your ribs. And then on your exhale, we're gonna do that same little pelvic rock. So tilt your pubic bone back to your navel, feeling the length in your spine, and then inhale, just rock the pelvis away. Good. Exhale, pubic bone tilts back, tailbone still reaches away, right, from the crown of your head, and then back. So think of this pelvic rock as more of just a flattening of the spine. And in order to do that, we have to get longer. Now, as you do your little pelvic rock, this kind of rocking from neutral to imprint, how still can you keep your shoulders, your chest, your head, your neck? Yes, and think of it as just the low abdomen pulling the pelvis back and then rocking the pelvis away. Good, last one here, really empty out the lungs, right? That'll contract the abdominals naturally. Good, and now weight your tailbone into the carriage. Feel the base of the ribs soften. Again, feel the spine elongate. Let's come onto all 10 toes, hip socket distance apart. So we're gonna be in parallel here. All right, so there's just a little lift of your heels. How stable can you keep your pelvis and spine? And now just press the carriage out halfway. Pause here, see if you tucked under, if the mat feels the same, and then just bring the carriage all the way back in. Good. Press the carriage out just halfway, and then back in. We're just gonna do these half in and outs. The sensation of the mat to the back should be the same when the carriage is in versus when the carriage is halfway out. Yes. And hopefully you're feeling like some seat muscles kick on, some hip muscles. Good, and if you feel like, okay, I got this, lady, I can move on from here, right? Go all the way out. And then I want you to get longer, get taller as you bend your knees, pull yourself all the way in. Good, inhale to stretch out, lengthen out, and then exhale, bend the knees, come all the way in. Every toe pad is connected, the heels are still in space. Good. Last one here. And now bring the carriage in halfway and pause here. Make sure, again, that tailbone is heavy. For a lot of people, we have to feel like we're kind of sticking the booty out into the mat. And then you're gonna do little pulses out an inch and in an inch here. Feel that this is kind of coming from your butt crease, the back of your legs, maybe a little bit more than the front of your legs. Good. Arms are still reaching long and they're heavy. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now go all the way out, holding that long neutral spine, and then bend the knees, pull yourself all the way home. All right, let's come on to the arches. Still hip socket distance apart. Wrap the toes up and over, but reach the heels down and under. Find that pull on the foot bar down, and then press the carriage out just halfway, and then back in. Go out halfway, and back in. That's typically, in that first press out, that's typically where we shorten, we kind of sink into our spine. So that's where I really want you to challenge yourself, is like holding that pelvis and upper half stable. And if you feel like, okay, I got this, then you're gonna go all the way out and then pull yourself all the way home. It's a lot of seat work, a lot of posterior chain work, still, right, a lot of quads as well. And each time you bring the carriage in, maybe those heels reach down and under just a bit more. 10-finger palm press into the mat. Collarbones are pulling apart, right? All of those things still apply here. Good. Let's do 2. And last one, go ahead and pull it all the way home. Good, let's come onto the heels now. Good, so feet are flexed. Think of leaving the bottoms of the feet up against that imaginary wall. Your tailbone, once again, is heavy. And now press the carriage out just halfway, and then bring it back in. Good. So right, these, again, this is your opportunity to just hold that stable pelvis. And your neutral spine should feel like, right, you have that little arch in the small of your back. There's just a little bit of space there, that sensation of space. And then if you're ready, right, you can go all the way out. And remember, you're trying to get longer, get taller as you come in. And you're fighting for that equal weight into your heels. So play around with the sensation of the big balls of your feet going forward and your pinky toes pulling back a bit. There you go. And you're trying to do that without letting the knees bow in or out. Good. Let's do 3. And 2. And 1. Now bring the carriage in halfway. Check your pelvis, check your tailbone. And now we're going to do those little pulses. We'll go back to the arches in just a second. There you go. It's the same thing here. It's that kind of a push-pull action. Good. You have 3. And 2. And 1. Now go all the way out. And then drag it all the way home. Let's come back onto the arches, find that kind of pull down so the back of the legs kick on, press the carriage out just halfway, and now we're gonna do the little pulses here. There you go. So how stable can you keep your pelvis? How heavy can you keep your tailbone as you do this? Again, it's very tempting to kind of sink down, right? You control the springs. You've got 3 and 2 and 1, go all the way out. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck, and then bend the knees, pull yourself all the way home. Let's come back onto the toes. Okay, so you're still in that parallel or back to your parallel hip distance. Go ahead and press the carriage all the way out now. Good, and take a moment here to just, again, exhale, relax the chest, maybe find a little bit more head to tail length, a little bit more reach out through the arms. Now make sure your tailbone stays heavy. Start to lower the thighs down, push the heels down and under, and pause. There you go. Actively flex your heels here. Now, once again, can you hold the stable pelvis and then lift your heels up? Good. Inhale as your heels lower, and then exhale, lift the heels up. Inhale as they lower, exhale, lift the heels. Yep. So again, a lot of times as we lift the heels, we want to tuck the pelvis, but it almost feels like you have to reach the pubic bone to the foot bar, to the toes, especially as the heels lift. So that exhale hopefully will help contract the abdominals to stabilize things as you lift. There you go. Let's do 3. Make sure you're going that full range. And 2. Good. It's a flex and a point. Good. Last one here. Go all the way under. Good. Lift the heels up and then bend the knees. Come all the way home. Make sure your headrest is all the way down, please. And then go ahead and place your arches on. Okay. So arms are weighted into the mat. And then that pelvic tuck that we did, or that pelvic rock that we did, remember we were kind of initiated from the low abdominals. So that's what I want you to kind of channel when we start to do our bridge. So find equal weight into your feet, arms are weighted, take a big expansive breath, and then on your exhale, right, pubic bone tilts back, right, use that exhale and just start to roll the hips up. Obviously the back of the legs in your seat will have to kick on. Good. And then once you're here at the top of your bridge, make sure that your chest is, let's say, heavy, right? Not even soft. Just allow it to kind of fall down, but reach your pubic bone up higher than your 2 hip points. If I was to flip you or take your feet down, you'd be in an upper ab curl right now. All right, now take a big breath in, feel that chest opening. And then on your exhale, start to lower the ribs down. Think of drawing them to your pelvis. Stretch the waist down, roll all the way down. Down, down. Fully release the tailbone at the bottom. Good, let's do that again. Use your exhale. Feel like the belly draws down, pubic bone rolls back. Think of the knees reaching up and over. So again, there's always that opposition. The front of your throat should feel open. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, chest goes down. There you go. Find that true like articulation all the way down. Fully release the tailbone at the bottom. Good, and let's do that again. Roll the tailbone over the pelvis as you come all the way up. Find the arms reaching further down into the mat to once again just open up through here. Good. Now, can you keep your pelvis right where it's at? Okay, this might limit the carriage going out all the way, but now press the carriage out and then pull the carriage in, but keep the ribs kind of drawing down to the mat. There you go. And then drag it in. Inhale as you go out, and then exhale, deepen that shape as you come in. There's still energy with your inner thighs, right? Toes are just reaching up and over the foot bar. Good. Last one here, inhale out, and then exhale, come all the way in, pull it past the stopper if you can, and then roll down. Roll down. There you go, send the hips away. Good. All right, we're gonna do that again. Not the press out, but we're gonna roll the hips back up into bridge. Again, knees are reaching away from the crown of the head. Always that opposition here. Now, can you keep the carriage still and quiet? And just drop your right hip down a little bit and then lift it back up. Good. Left hip goes down a little bit and back up. As you do this, think of those knees trying to stay stable and reaching. Upper half stays stable as well. There you go. And use that exhale to lift the pelvis back up to center. So we inhale as we drop, exhale, pelvis levels out, right? You might start to feel some oblique action kick on along with your backside, right? We're working both front and back. There you go. Neck is long. You got it. For 3 and 2 and 1. Find a level pelvis and then stretch your waist as you go all the way down. Your pelvis is the very last thing. There you go. Use your belly muscles. There you go to kind of squeegee everything out. Fabulous. All right, so let's go ahead and grab onto the pegs. If the pegs on your reformer, like it's not comfortable to grab onto them, you can always grab onto the shoulder blocks. So let's go ahead and lift the legs up into tabletop here. So glue the legs together. And then feel once again that your tailbone is heavy, your ribs are heavy. You've just got that natural arch in the small of your back and your arms are just at the party, right? So from here, straighten the legs up to the ceiling. Good, and then bends the knees. Good. Straighten the legs up, and then bends the knees. Now straighten the legs up again, and just feel, do you still have the natural arch in the small of your back, or have you tucked under? And then bends the knees. So if you're tight, it's gonna feel really tough. Now go ahead and straighten the legs up and pause. See that your big toes are besties right now, okay? We're about to like separate them, okay? So I want you to see that your left toe kind of slides up closer to the ceiling. So the left hip tries to lift and then lower it back down. Your right leg, it kind of slides up a little bit and then back down. It's so tiny, right? So again, a little pelvic or a little low back twist here. Up and then down, and you're trying to alternate. Now you might be looking at your feet right now going, nothing's really happening. It's a tiny movement, I promise you. Josie's feet are moving like this much. There you go. Use your exhale as you try to reach the leg up. Good. And I want you to notice which side is harder. Good. Let's do 2. Good. Last one here. Good. Lower the hips down, bends the knees. Beautiful. You can just give them a hug in. Did you feel work there? It's so tiny but mighty, right? All right, so knees are into your chest. Go ahead and take your hands onto your right shin and extend your left leg out long. Yep. So it's just reaching across the room. And then if it's available, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Push the shin up and into the hands. So I want to challenge you right now. Can you find a neutral low back? So again, meaning tailbone is heavy. You've got a tiny little arch in the small of your back. All right. Now, how stable can you keep your torso and your pelvis as you switch legs? Slower is better. There you go. Push the shin up and into the hands and switch. There you go. So again, this workout is about how stable can we keep the pelvis, or just pelvis control. There you go. So waistline is long. You'll notice, right, if it's moving, right, we're kind of shimmy, shake, and Shakira hips. All right, we don't want that. There you go. And that pull with the arms is coming from the arms in the back, right? Not the neck. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Hug both knees in. Grab onto the back of the legs now. Push the legs into the hands. But when you're here, can you not get the low back into the mat, right? Try to lift it up a little bit to sink that tailbone down heavy. It's tough. And now as your legs shoot out long, so let your hands slide down the back of your legs. Yep. And then hold here. Push the legs down into the hands. Good. And then bends the knees all the way back in. Hands just slide back up. Good. Again, push the legs out and then down. There you go. Now, can you keep that chest lift as your knees come all the way back in? Good. Again, reach the legs out and away. Now hold here. Everything else stays stable. Arms go up to the ceiling. Arms go out to the sides. Then to your thighs, and then hug everything back in. Good. Let's play with the breath. Inhale as the legs go out. Arms go up. Arms go out. And then exhale, knees come all the way back in. Good. Last one like this. They go out. Good. Reach the toes. Arms go up and out. Together, all the way in. Lower your head down. Right. Take a moment. Yeah. Okay. You okay? Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's do our scissors and then our double leg lower and lift. We'll move on to something else. So from here, go ahead and straighten your legs up to the ceiling. There you go. So we're starting out with those big toes, our besties. Grab onto the back of your right leg, climb up the leg, push the leg into the hands. So you deepen the stretch. But now here, again, find that tailbone heavy, so it might feel like you have to stick the booty out a little bit. Lower your left leg down to that little hover. Now, can you let go of your leg but keep everything still? And then switch legs. Push the leg into the hands, so go ahead and grab on. Push the leg into the hands, good. Let go, keep the shape, and switch. There you go, yep, good. And switch. The only reason I'm having you kind of do that is because, I don't know about you, but when I grab onto the leg, sometimes I'm like, oh, thank God, a lifesaver, right? I kind of hold on for dear life. Yes, there you go. And I guess if you wanted to challenge yourself more, right, you could not hold on or just reach the arms up. Yes, but again, stable torso, long waist for 3, razor straight legs, and 2, and 1. Good, go ahead and just bend the knees in, take a quick moment. If you want to do this next exercise with the head down, grab onto the pegs of the shoulder blocks. Otherwise, interlace the webbing of the fingers, hands go behind the base of the skull. Traction the head up and into the hands. You're in that upper ab curl if you're taking this option. Legs go straight up to the sky. Let's find a Pilates V here. So heels and inner ankle bones are hugging together. Tailbone is heavy. Base of the ribs are into the mat. I want you to think of pushing the legs down and away. There you go. Stick the booty out as the legs come back up. Yes. Inhale away. And then exhale, stick the booty out. Good, as the legs come up. Good, reach the legs away. Try not to tuck the pelvis as the legs come up. Good, it might have to limit the range, that's okay. Good, lift the legs up. So you gotta really deepen the hip creases. Let's do 2. There you go. Use that exhale, push the head back into the hands, sit for your there. Good, last one here. Good, stick the booty out as the legs come up. Good, and then bends the knees, just hug everything down, do what feels good. Rock back and forth. Does that feel different at all? Yeah. Alrighty, so from here, let's go ahead and roll you up, and we're gonna come to 2 medium springs. So we have 2 reds on the balanced body. Headrest can come back up if you prefer it up. And you're gonna go ahead and lie down, and we're gonna do our 100 here. So I want you to reach back for your long loops. Unless you want more tension, right, you could go for the short loops. All right, so start with the fist punching up to the ceiling here. Bring your knees into your chest and find like a little Pilates V here. All right, so broad collarbone, arms are razor straight. Go ahead and lower the arms all the way down and into the mat, and feel that punch out through your first and second knuckles. So arms get even longer down into the mat, and then float the arms all the way back up. We're gonna do this a couple more times, and I want you to feel that once again, tailbone is heavy. You're fighting for that little tiny arch in the small of your back, right? That's your neutral spine. Good. You got 2 more here, working on creating space between ears and shoulders. Good, now lower the arms all the way down. If it's available, you curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Good, and then send your legs out to your working angle. Carriage is not gonna move. Float the arms up a little bit, and then lower them down. Good, inhale up, and then exhale down. There you go. Now start pumping a little bit faster here. So right, think 5 pumps for your inhale and 5 pumps for your exhale. There you go. Try not to let that carriage move. So really work the reach out through the fists. There you go. Reach for me, reach for me. Yeah, there you go. Good. And remember that tailbone is heavy. You can always lower your head down. Think of the legs pushing down and into something. So if I was there with you, I'd ask you to push down into my hands. Yes, good. There you go. Reach. I know it's terrible. You can always lower your head down. Remember, let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raise the arms up with control. You can lower the legs down. Go ahead and hang up the straps. And let's roll you up. We're going to come down to 1 spring now, 1 medium spring. So that's 1 red for here. And the foot bar is going to come all the way down. You're going to turn around and you're going to face the back end of your reformer, palms distance behind your booty and the edge of the mat. Cross the legs if you need to. Grab onto your long loops. Legs are zipped up, whether they're crossed or not, and your toes are pointed. So row your fists into your sternum. So knuckles are together, your elbows are wide and kind of forward. So it almost feels like the upper back is rounding just a hair, okay? Now, remember that hand placement that we did in the beginning of class. I want you to lift up into your imaginary hands. Now keep the lift up, and I want you to take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, can you do that tiny little pelvic rock without moving the carriage and without moving your upper body? And then inhale finds that more flat back. There you go. And then exhale, pull that pubic bone up just a little bit. There you go. So just play around with this. This is your initiation. A lot of times when we go for this rowing, we just let our body go back as opposed to working from right here in that low belly, or right our belly in general. Start to find some energy down through the back of the legs. Good. Now take a big breath in here at the top. On your exhale, initiate from your pelvis first. Roll it back. There you go. Think of dragging your head across the ceiling as you roll back, right? You are doing an ab curl in resistance. Now hold here at your working angle, wherever that is. Can you tilt your pubic bone back to your navel just a bit more? Good. Now take a big breath in here. On your exhale, leave your pelvis still for as long as you can. Your chest is going to go forward. Your ribs are going to go back, and you're going to roll up. Roll up. There you go. And you're going to stack your spine all the way up at the top. Obviously, your pelvis is going to have to follow. Good. Let's do that again. Big breath in here at the top. On your exhale, right, you get longer. Pelvis moves first. Roll back, stretch back. Think of like you're being steamrolled back. You go back to your working angle and then pause here. How stable can you keep your pelvis and spine? Take the arms out to the side like a letter T. Your palms are facing back behind you. Open up your wingspan even more. Good. Now take your hands back in front of your sternum. Yep. And then roll yourself up. Lead with your chest. Pelvis is the last thing to follow and come all the way up tall, tall, tall. Good. Another one, right? We'll do the full here. So pelvis goes first. There you go. You get longer. Good. A lot of times, right, we just kind of sink down. Good. Now hold the stability of the pelvis. Legs are still reaching long. Arms go out to the side. Open up your wingspan. Give me a little press back. And then dive the head up and over. Now, as the crown of your head reaches past your toes, remember your tailbone's still curling under. Lift the arms up, open them out wide to the sides of the room. They're gonna circle around and reach for your toes. There you go. And then from tail to crown, stack your spine all the way up, bring your fist back in front of your sternum. We're only gonna do that one more time. So again, initiate from the low abdomen. Pubic bone curls back. Yes, there you go. You go back to your working angle. Look down, make sure that everything else stays stable. Arms go out to the side. Open up the wingspan, you press back. Dive up and over like you've got a ball of barbed wire in your lap. Keep reaching the arms as they circle around and to your toes, and then stack everything up tall. All right, so if your legs are crossed, uncross, recross them. Arms come up to 90, palms are facing in, okay? So this time, right, it's a hinge off the sitting bones, okay? So everything is gonna stay super flat, super stable. Remember, hand is on top of your head here. Lift up into your imaginary hand. And now inhale as you hinge back. Hinge back, hinge back. There you go. Keep that long line. And then exhale, come all the way up tall, 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 tall. Good. Really work that lift of the ribs up. Inhale as you go back. Up. And then exhale to come all the way up, right? You're attached to a board back here. Inhale as you go back. There you go. Good. And then exhale to come all the way up. We won't do the full on this today. We're only going to do 2 more of these. So inhale as you go back. And now pause here. I want you to exhale to stay. Feel the ribs draw in a little bit more. Take another big breath in. And then on this exhale, come all the way up again, getting taller, taller, taller. Last one like this. Hinge off those sitting bones. Straight back. Go back. There we go. Do that last exhale to hold. Another big inhale into that back. And then exhale to come all the way up, 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 up. And then just round forward. Go ahead and hang up your straps. Yeah, right? All right, let's go ahead and come off, and then let's grab your long box. So long box is on. We're going to stay on the 1 spring for our pull straps 1 and 2. So you're going to go ahead and lie down on your stomach, head to the end of your reformer, and you're going to be about your mid-chest here. Yep, so if it's more comfortable to have the girls off, right, have the girls off, all right? So take your hands just to the frame of the carriage here, and I want you to separate your legs just to like the width of the box. We'll go there for today. So you're in just like a little bit of a turnout here, and then we're just gonna get the legs set up. So feel like the legs are reaching away from the crown of the head, so they're strong and straight here. But when you do that, I want you to feel your pelvis kind of open up to the box. So remember that little pelvic rock that you did? Find it here. So as you press your pubic bone towards the box, feel like your low abdomen almost kind of lifts up to support your low back in a way, okay? So keep that, all right? Now reach down and grab the tape above your hardware, or just right above the hardware on the ropes. Straps are gonna come off the pegs and your arms are just out to the side. So gaze is down, you're holding kind of just a flat back position here. Arms are gonna stay straight. Pull the arms wide and back to your hips, and then pause here. There you go. Just think like you're being shot out of a cannon. Your arm bones are hugging into your center line. And now keep that back super stable, super long as the arms lower all the way down. Good. So for today, for right now, we're just going to hold a stable spine, stable pelvis as the arms pull down and back. And then all the way down. So that sensation of your body into the box should not change as the arms are moving forward and back. And allow this resistance, right, when you pull the arms back to find more length, more reach out through the heart, the crown of the head, the sternum, all the things. Yes. Last one like this. Pull the arms down and back. Remember, your tailbone is still reaching long. Now, can you hold everything stable here? And now bend your elbows and straighten the arms. Palms are still facing in. Each time the elbows bend, just think of the elbows reaching back behind you. Remember that low abdomen is kind of pulling the pubic bone towards the box. You have 3, legs are strong, and 2. And last one here, arms are gonna go straight and then lower the arms all the way down. Now, if you felt good in the low back, you felt strong everywhere, I want you to bring the legs zipped up together in parallel. So kneecaps are looking down to the floor, inner ankle bones are hugging in. Find just a tiny lift of the thighs without the pelvis shifting, all right? Now take your hands all the way to the long loops. For your T-pull or your pull straps too, arms are gonna go out to the side for that letter T and pause here, okay? So gaze is gonna stay down. I want you to find a strong reach out through the fists. So you're like opening up your wingspan. Palms are gonna stay facing down. Lead with your pinkies, pull them wide and back to your hips. Everything else stays stable, remember that. And then feel like, again, the heart is reaching forward, legs are hugging in, and then arms come back out to that letter T. Good. They reach wide across the room as they pull back to your pelvis. Palms are still facing down. And then arms lift up out wide, go back out to that side. Good, 2 more like this. Remember that pelvis is staying stable, it's not moving. There you go, arms go out wide to the side. Good, try to stay in spring tension. Last one here, pull the arms wide and back. There you go, tailbone stays long, pubic bone into the box. Arms lift up and go out wide to the sides of the room. Good, and then just lower everything down. Good, go ahead and hang up your straps. And then let's come off the box. We're gonna place it short ways now. And go ahead and place another spring on. So you've got like 2 mediums or like a medium and a heavy, just so the box isn't all over the place. You're gonna have a seat on the box, hook your feet underneath your safety strap. And I want you to start with knees bent. So if you're petite, you might actually scoot the box away from the shoulder blocks a bit. But if you're tall, right, you'd probably just be seated maybe closer up to the edge, right? Or for everybody. So feet are flexed here. Pull your feet apart. All right, so think heels kind of pulling apart, pinky toes are pulling up to your shins. And then let's from here take the hands again, place them on top of your head. So you're interlacing the fingers here. And then just like we did earlier, okay, but now we're gonna add a little bit more movement, all right? So I want you to lift up into your hands, your shoulders are relaxed. Take a big breath in here. And then on your exhale, find that kind of lift of the low abdomen and just start to roll back a little bit, but feel like you're scraping your head across the ceiling. There you go. There you go. So we're still lifting up tall. There you go. Yep, you got it. I know it's a fight, right? We want to sink. Good. And then from here, just like rowing, keep your pelvis still for as long as you can. Chest comes up. There you go. And come all the way up, 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 up. Good. Again, right pelvis goes back first, right? It's almost like this is trying to stay still for as long as you can, and then it eventually goes back. Legs are just active here. There you go. Now again, pelvis stays still, chest comes forward, ribs come back, keep pushing up and into the hands. There you go. And then stacking up tall, tall, tall. Good. Again. I like to think I'm being steamrolled. Do you remember those old cartoons? Like they steamroll the cartoon, it stays standing as that steamroll goes over it. Maybe it makes sense in my head. There you go. And then come all the way up, 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 getting taller, taller, taller. All right. So now we're going to play around just a little bit more. Okay. So come back again, right? Again, pubic bone curls back. There you go. Spine lengthens as you go back. Go back to your challenge point. Okay. There you go. Now take a big breath in here. And then on your exhale, just deepen this rounded shape. And then on your inhale, can you start to flatten your back out a little bit? Maybe take your gaze up to the ceiling. Yep. And then on your exhale, I want you to round into yourself again and then roll yourself all the way up, up, up. Keep pushing the head up and into the hands. We're going to do that again. This time the pelvis stays still when you do that kind of flatten out and then back. It's almost like you're doing an ab curl, like a little chest lift. So on the next exhale, you roll yourself back. Again, legs are active, pinky toes pulling back. Good, now keep your pelvis stable, right? You kind of go into that flat back. Use your exhale to draw the ribs in. It's kind of like a play on neck pull and come all the way up, up, up. Good, do you feel that? Yes. Yeah, it's tough, it's so tiny. So now take your hands, place them behind the base of your skull. Yep, so head pushes up and into the hands. And then if your feet or your heels are connected to the mat here, the carriage, I want you to find kind of a pull in. So there's like three-dimensional energy. You're pulling apart, you're pulling in with your legs. So how stable can you keep your legs right now? And just twist your upper body to the right. Elbows are wide here. Now when you're twisted to the right, look back at your legs, see if they've shifted at all. And then come back through center. We lift and twist to the left. You're spiraling up out of your waistline. Check the legs again. And then come back through center. Good, again. You lift and twist, you spiral higher, higher, higher. Beautiful, come back through center. Think like you've got hands on top of your head and behind your head. Good, we lift, lift, lift. Beautiful, back to center one more time each side. It's just the rib cage, right? It's from here up, spiraling, spiraling. Beautiful, back to center, equal weight into your pelvis, right? We lift and twist to the left. We lift, lift, lift. Good. And now square yourself off. Keep that head to hand connection, just like rowing. You're gonna hinge off of your sitting bones and then go back. Stretch back, right? Try to keep those ribs in and then lift yourself all the way up. Good. You inhale as you go back. And as you start to lift up, push the head back even more, right? A lot of times the head wants to lead the way. Again, legs are active, pull them into the carriage and then exhale, lift yourself all the way up. Again. Stretch back, go back, lift up off your hips, and then exhale, come all the way up. Good, last one here. Good, go back, stretch back, and come all the way up. Now we lift and twist to the right. Check your legs. They are not gonna shift. You're gonna hinge back. Go back, there you go back. Good, and then lift yourself all the way up. So imagine I was there, I had my hands on your knees. Go ahead and go to the other side. I want you to think of pushing your knees into my hands as you stretch back. And then come all the way up. Good, now lift and twist to the right. You got it. Go back, elbows are stay wide. And then lift yourself all the way up. Good, another one here. Good. And come all the way up, find center, lower the arms, and right, shake it up. Yeah, do you feel things? Yes. Yeah, especially when you get that heel connection too. Like how those hammies, I'm sure. Yeah. So let's go ahead and come off the box. Box is gonna go away. You're gonna place your foot bar up and we're gonna all come to 2 medium springs or 2 red springs for the balanced body. 2 medium, headrest is up, foot bar is up. And then let's do our long stretch here. So hands are gonna come onto the foot bar, feet are gonna come up here in this headrest crease. You're gonna pop right up into your plank, okay? So feel your sternum and your chest lift up into your back. So you're really pushing down through the arms. Your heels are hugging together. They stay high. It feels like you're in a pointed toe. All right. Now the hinge comes from the shoulder joint. So you press the carriage out, keeping everything else super long and stable, and then drag the carriage all the way in. Your tailbone stays reaching long, finds that tiny little pull of the pubic bone to the navel. Yes. And then come all the way in, right? This might be an inch, it might be a mile for you today. Inhale as you go back. And then exhale, feel that pull up through the base of the ribs to come all the way home. Good, one more here. You got it, keep working on space in that upper back. Good, neckline is long, come all the way in. Good, now carefully lower down onto the knees. Take your feet onto the shoulder blocks for a down stretch. So try to connect the entire bottom of the foot to the shoulder block, right? If you have long feet, do your best here. And now reach the pelvis through and forward. There you go. So find your extension here. Once again, your tailbone is long and feel like your hip points are picking up to your bottom ribs. From here, keep the shape of your spine. Press the carriage back. There you go. And feel like your pelvis is kind of dragging low as you bring the carriage all the way in. Your heart lifts, collarbones open. Good, drive back through the inner edges of your heels, find those inner thighs. There you go, and then you pull yourself up and through. It's chest expansion with a extension. Good, again, pelvis stays stable the entire time. There you go, and then exhale, bring you all the way in and up, up, up. Last one like this, inhale as you go back. Find those inner thighs. Exhale, pulls you all the way up and through. Roll the chest and the shoulders open. Good, and then from here, let's come up to standing. Slide your heels down halfway onto the shoulder blocks. for your up stretch. Okay, so there's a lot of movement in the pelvis here because it's a lot of like undulation. So pull apart on that foot bar with the arms to keep the neckline long. Your head is hanging, your spine is rounded to start. Again, find the inner thigh connection, press the carriage back and lower the hips down. Yep. Keep the head kind of hanging down and your upper back kind of rounded. And now pull the carriage in like you're dragging your pelvis slow. And when you feel like I can't go anymore, nod your chin and roll your spine all the way up. Sit the hips back. You press the carriage back. Pelvis is going to lower. Keep the pubic bone reaching to the navel as you drag the carriage all the way in, and then undulate. Lift the sternum, lift the ribs, come all the way up. One more like this. Press the carriage back. There you go. Drag it low, pull yourself all the way in, come all the way up, and now slide your heels down into the mat. Now, if this is like, whoa, I'm way too, like, I can't reach back that far, walk your feet in a little bit closer, okay? So, in fact, for you, Josie, walk your feet into maybe like right here, okay? So, tripod connection down through your feet, let your head hang and round your spine. Yep. So think of my forearm being at your upper abdomen, lift up off my forearm. And now keeping the carriage in, I just want you to shift your weight forward. See how far you can go, keeping rounded, and then shift your weight back. Yep. Notice in order to keep your heels down, right, you kind of have to like, the tailbone has to kind of chase the back of the knees or the feet. There you go. Or right, you have to flex the feet more. Good. Good, and then come back one last time. And now shift the weight forward to where you maybe start to feel the upper abdomen work a little bit more. Again, still working that pubic bone curling under to your navel. And now press the carriage out and then pull the carriage in. Think of this movement as just a low abdomen workout, a low belly curl. So each time the carriage goes out and in, you're staying round, but you're also trying to get even deeper into this flexion. And if you're tight, you're probably getting a stretch. There's an inhale as you go out, and then an exhale to come in. Good, last one like this, inhale out. And then exhale brings you all the way in. Good, go ahead and carefully step off. We'll skip arabesque today. We're going to stay on the 2 medium springs, and you're going to have a seat right about here for stomach massage. So take your feet up onto the foot bar. Now, you're going to feel very scrunched up. Totally normal. That's part of the challenge here. So pick your poison with how close or how far away. So hands are onto the front edge of the mat. Your feet are on, or toes are on in a Pilates V. So I want you to pull with your arms. So you're kind of pulling yourself forward, but once again, find that low abdomen, that low belly curl under. Now that shape of the spine is not going to change. Inhale as you press the carriage out. Keep the inhale, hold the breath, lower the heels under, lift the heels up, and then exhale, empty the lungs, come all the way in. Inhale out, hold the breath, lower, lift, empty the lungs, come all the way in. Good. So as you're going out and in, there's an opposition here. Feet are going forward, and your back, your ribs, your pelvis is going in the opposite direction. I'm hoping the inhale, right, you feel a stretch and you just feel this opening in the back body. One more like this. Good. Lift the heels and come all the way in. Good. Now reach your arms up at a high diagonal. Can you circle the arms around and find your hands to the shoulder blocks or the mat? It's whichever one works for you, okay? So from here, just go ahead and press the carriage out and pause here. All right, think pubic bone pointing down to the mat. Your chest is lifted here. Now, once again, imagine you had your hands on top of your head. You're going to keep growing up into your hands. Lower the heels down. Lift the heels up. Get taller as you bend your knees. Come all the way home. Let's find that same breath. Inhale as you go out. Hold the breath. Lower. Lift. Exhale. Get taller as you come in. Good. Yep. You're trying to bend those knees to like shoulder width distance, but right? We have belly, we have thighs, we have things, right? So they have to go a little bit wider. You do so. There you go. Feel those collarbones are lifting and opening. Try not to let that pelvis rock back as you come in. Last one like this. Beautiful. Come all the way in, reach the arms out in front of you, find that high diagonal. Think of them pressing down into something, and now press the carriage out and hold here. Can you lift up taller? Can you kind of stick your booty out and now keep that shape and then bend your knees, come all the way home. Good, again, press the carriage out, lift taller, bend the knees, come all the way home. Good, keep the arms reaching over the springs. Yes, and then come all the way in. There you go. So the challenge, right, is that reach, right? That's why it's called reach. Good. Last one here. You're going to press it out, and again, you're going to lift and grow taller. Pelvis stays still, lift and twist to the right. There you go. Remember that twist in the waist like we did on the short box. Good, and then come back to center, bend the knees, come all the way home. Press it out, lift and twist to the left. Open up that wingspan, equal push into your feet here, and then come all the way home. You got it. So that equal push into your feet is going to help give you feedback if your pelvis is twisting. Yep, and go ahead and come all the way in. Good, again, lift up tall into those imaginary hands. Reach, 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 good. And then back home. Good, 2 more here. You got it, I know. Lift and twist, reach, 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 reach. And then come back home. Good, last one. Good, push the foot bar away. That's it. Come all the way home, grab onto the foot bar. Give yourself a monkey stretch. If your legs can go fully straight, I'm jealous. I'm happy for you. You can do that little point and flex, that drop of the heels. Okay, so let's now go ahead and come off. And then let's keep it on the 2 medium springs. Okay, I want it to be challenging. You're gonna come kneeling on your carriage, facing the back end of your reformer, and you're gonna hook your feet around the edge of the mat. Perfect. So make sure that you've got a solid, like hard flex of your feet here, right? And make sure that your pinky toes are pulling back just as much as your big toes, okay? So let's go ahead, reach the arms out in front of you like zombie arms here. Feel that the tailbone is lengthening, the inner thighs are active here, and remember the hands on top of the head. Okay, so you're just finding your plumb line. Without falling forward, please, just hinge forward just a little bit. And then just lean back a little bit. Just a little like couple inch sway here. And as you find that forward lean, I want you to find that place where your thighs kind of kick on a little bit. And that's where, right, that's your point. Yep, there you go. The ribs are in, meaning they're just stacked right over your pelvis. Good, now go ahead and just find center, reach down and grab onto the long loops. This is a heavy spring, I know, but I want it to be challenging for your lower half, okay? So chest expansion here, arms are straight, palms are either facing in or back behind you. Find that, ooh, reach the arms forward again. There you go, yep. And then go ahead and find that like nasty lean forward where it feels like you might face plant, but thankfully your legs are catching you. Now hold that position. Now slowly pull the arms down and back. Yes, and then hold here, roll the shoulders open, punch the fist down to the floor. Now keep your shape and then slowly release the arms. It is a static hamstring hold. That's what this is. Pull the arms down and back. There you go, good. You stretch up into those hands, good, and then slowly release the arms. Good, 2 more like this. Hug the inner thighs together, pull the arms down and back. Good, pause here, you get taller. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left, turn your head to center, and then slowly release the arms. Last one like this. You're standing tall, good. Pull the arms down and back, there you go. Find that lean, turn your head to the left, turn your head to the right, turn your head to center, and then slowly release. Good, reach back and place on a light spring. So for us, it'll be 2 reds and a blue. 2 mediums and a light. Scoot your knees up against the shoulder blocks, still hip socket distance apart here. You're gonna choke up onto the straps. So here, push down through your shins, make sure they look like a number 11, and then find your plumb line here. So even though the shoulder blocks are in the way, but find that sensation like you had for chest expansion, okay? So again, pubic bone is forward, arms are gonna stay straight, and now hinge back in that one long line. Arms just stay up in front of you. There you go. When you're like, I don't want to go any further, push down into your shins to lift yourself all the way up. In fact, for these next couple, I want you to kind of look down at your stomach or your chest here. There you go. And now hinge back. Pubic bone goes forward. Yep. and then lift yourself all the way up. So find that same kind of low pelvic curl, just a tiny bit here. There you go. Ribs are kind of drawing back. It's a chest lift. And then come all the way up. Good, yep. 2 more like this. We're gonna stay with this one today. There you go. Push down through the shins and the tops of the feet to lift yourself all the way up. Feel like the hip points are picking up to your ribs. Inhale takes you back. And then exhale lifts you up even taller. Go ahead and hang up your straps. You're gonna turn around, come kneeling again, and pop off that light spring. So now you're on 2 medium springs. Feet go up against the shoulder blocks. Hands come onto the foot bar for your knee stretches. So this one, things can get out of hand like really quick, right? So a lot of things can be moving because we're moving a lot faster. So connect as much of the bottom of your feet as you possibly can. Pull apart on that bar. Drop your head, round your spine big time. There you go. So again, think of my fist or my forearm being at your upper abdomen. Can you keep the curl of the hips as you press the carriage back? And then pull it in. So notice as you press back, right, tailbone has to stay tucking between the legs. All right, it's very tempting to want to extend here. There you go. So the further back you push, the more the seat has to kick on. There you go. And obviously the more the stomach has to work too. Now, if you feel like you can do this, maybe you go a little bit faster. All right, there you go. Inhale takes you out. Exhale pulls you in into that deep rounding flexion of the spine. There you go. Empty the lungs each time you come in. Good. You have 2 and 1. Good, bring it all the way in. Now extend your spine. If extension's not for you, right, find more of a flat back here, right? Heart's reaching forward, booty is kind of sticking out. Keep the shape here, press the carriage back and pull it in. Good, so find your butt crease muscles to press you out and in. Upper half stays stable. So remember that footwork that we were doing and that like little half press out that you did. Take the feedback that you took from the mat or you felt from the mat, apply it here. There you go. And if you feel like you can go faster, right, you go faster. If not, you stay slow, right? Today is about pelvic control. There you go. I personally always found this one way harder. You got 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the carriage all the way in, round your spine. And I want you to place your right toes up on the edge of the mat. Okay, so you're gonna lift your heel up, that right heel up high. So you're kind of in like this runner's stance here. Round your spine. Feel like your ribs are lifting off of that right thigh. And now hover your left knee off of the mat. Good. Now press the carriage back, keeping the tailbone curling under, and then pull it in. Good. You press back and then pull it in. There you go. So here is not gonna be as big of a movement, right? Because obviously your right knee is forward. There you go. But really work that lift of the low belly up into your back. You've got 2, looks good. And then last one here, I could bring it all the way in and then carefully lower the knee down and then go ahead and switch legs. There you go. Again, round and lift to the spine, lift the ribs. There you go. Lift the chest up into the back. You press the carriage back and then pull it in. Even though the legs are split, find your inner thighs here. There you go. And if you're tight in the front of your hip, right, you might be getting a stretch as you press the carriage back because your tailbone is curling under so much. You got this. Let's do 4 and 3 and 2 and last one. Good, bring the carriage all the way in, carefully lower the knee down. You're gonna come back to your footwork spring. So I think that was a light, a medium, and a heavy. Go ahead and lie on your back, keep the headrest up, and you're gonna place all 10 toes on the foot bar. Hip socket distance apart. Make sure you're centered, arms are weighted into the mat here. And then from here, find that heavy tailbone, your neutral spine, press the carriage all the way out. Take a moment here to just let the shoulders and the neck relax. I know, especially after knee stretches. And now if you'd like for more feedback, right, hands can come onto your stomach, your waist, your pelvis area. And now drop your right heel under as your left knee bends. And then come back up into high heels. Left heel drops, right knee bends. Good. So once again, how stable, how long can you keep your waistline, both sides, as your legs are moving? So this is just you walking, right? I think it's called running, prancing. There's a lot of different names for it. And obviously the faster you go, the more you're gonna challenge your pelvis. So think of both butt cheeks equally weighted into the mat here. Both kneecaps are just floating up and looking up at the ceiling. You've got 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Go ahead and lift the heels up high, bend the knees, come all the way home. Now I want you to take your feet wide onto the foot bar. Think like 80 shoulder pad distance wide, and you're kind of like on your heel pockets. So like right above the heels. Arms are weighted into the mat, right? You have equal weight into your feet. And then from here, take a big expansive breath. And then on your exhale, find that low pelvic curl, that little pelvic rock, and now hover your tailbone off the mat. So your ribs are still into the mat, but you've got that little hover of your tailbone. From here, keep your pubic bone higher than your 2 hip points. Press the carriage out. Yes, and then pull the carriage all the way in. So this is your pelvic lift, right? Inhale as you go out, and then exhale pulls you in. Some days legs can go straight, some days, right, you might still have a soft bend to the knee. That's fine. But it's a lot of booty, right, to find that hip extension, especially on the out. But it's a lot of stomach work as well. Just like your bridge, right, we're working the front half and the lower half at the same time. Good. Now the next couple here, as you come in, I want you to find a hug in on the foot bar, like the inner thighs are trying to, contract or connect. Let's do a couple more here. There you go. Arms are stitched steady, reaching down and into the mat. Good. Last one here. Make sure the neckline is long. Good. And then go ahead and come all the way in. Feel like you're pulling the carriage off the risers, and then just roll those last few vertebrae all the way down. And you are done. Nice work. All right.